So the sitting is resumed. I'm moving to the announcement on the Sájarov Prize winner. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, it's a particular honor for me to announce the decision of the Conference of Presidents of today to award the Sájarov Prize in 2021 to Alexei Navalny, Russian anti-corruption activist and an advocate for change. Alexei Navalny has showed great courage in his attempts to restore the freedom of choice to the Russian people. For many years, he has fought for human rights and fundamental freedom in his country. This has cost him his freedom and nearly his life. On behalf of the European Parliament, I call for his immediate and unconditional release. All harassment, intimidation and attacks against the opposition, civil society and media by the Russian authorities must stop. Now, today, the Parliament has also honoured a group of Afghan women by committing to an organisation of a full week of activities to raise attention to their situation. We're talking about a group of women such as Saharaz Akbar, Mary Akrami, Zarifa Ghaffari, Palvasha Hassan, Freshta Karim, Zahra Karimi, Metra Mehran, Horia Mossadegh, Sima Samar, Habiba Sarabi and Anisa Shahid. They all have fiercely fought for equality and human rights, and the European Parliament wants to honour these women's bravery as they are among the first to suffer violations of their most basic rights and freedoms after the Taliban seized control of their country. So, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, today is testament to the commitment of this House to the people of Russia and Afghanistan who yearn for a life without fear. We are with you. Together we will see that freedom will prevail, that democracy will prevail. And now I will move to the debates. So, colleagues, the next item on the agenda is Council and Commission statements, the rise of right-wing extremism and racism in Europe in light of recent events in Rome. I will first move to invite the Council, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ansel Logar, to take the floor, and then we move towards the Commission statement. So, Minister Logar, the floor is yours.
Madam Chair, Commissioner, honourable members, the EU is built on diversity and tolerance. However, extremisms are still present in different forms. The COVID-19 pandemic has put our societies under additional pressure and exacerbated risks for extremist behaviour. There is evidence from different sources, such as the EU Agency for Fundamental Rights and the Council of Europe, or threat assessment by Europol, that confirms an alarming increase of intolerance, hatred and extremism in Europe. I would like to emphasise that our Union was conceived and developed as a project of solidarity, cooperation and tolerance. These values are quintessential to our project and need to be defended in a decisive manner. Last December, the European Council underlined the importance of combating incitement to hatred and violence, as well as intolerance. At that meeting, the European Council stated that it was essential to prevent radicalisation and address the ideologies behind terrorism and violent extremism, including online. It is particularly important to respond to the risk of extremism in a timely manner. We need to react to it at an earlier stage of its emergence. Early identification of radicalisation that can lead to violent extremism and even terrorism, and the identification of drivers of radicalisation are of crucial importance. Prevention of fertile grounds for radicalisation is also important. Extremism and racism are spread notably over internet through disinformation campaigns conspiracy theories, terrorist content, illegal hate speech challenging the functioning of our democracy, and other possible occasions. As you know, the Commission has adopted a number of important initiatives to respond to those challenges, the most recent being the first EU strategy on combating anti-Semitism and fostering Jewish life. The Presidency attaches great importance to combating illegal content online. We aim to reach a general approach on the Digital Service Act by the end of November. On 28 October 2021, the Slovenian Presidency is organising jointly with the Commission a virtual conference to discuss how to effectively combat hate crime and hate speech, with a particular focus on combating hate speech online and on the protection of victims of hate crime. Honourable Members, there is no better way to fight extremism and racism than education and open public debate. We have a lot of experience and best practices to share among ourselves to improve democratic resilience, media literacy, critical thinking and conflict resolution skills. I would like to conclude by stressing how important it is to prevent our societies from becoming dominated by hatred. We are therefore obliged to take all incidents of that kind seriously and never ignore them. We shall be respectful to each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister, for this statement on behalf of the Council, and I'd like now to invite the Commission, namely Commissioner Helena Dalli, to take the floor. Please, Commissioner.
Thank you, President, Minister, honourable members. The terrorist attacks in Christchurch, Hull and Hanau are strong and very worrying signals of how violent right-wing extremism is posing an increasing threat globally. Recently, violent right-wing extremist groups have also used COVID-related conspiracy theories and disinformation to incite violence. In Rome, on the 9th of October, a neo-fascist group used a demonstration against COVID-related measures to unleash chaos on the city and attack the headquarters of a trade union confederation. These facts also show that hatred, violence and intolerance are not only hiding in the dark corners of the web or in the inner circles of clandestine organizations. They have become more and more mainstream and risk to erupt in public violence and to undermine the stability of our democracies. Article 2 of the Treaty of the European Union refers to a union founded on the respect for human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law, and respect for human rights, including the rights of persons belonging to minorities, of course. I firmly believe that if we are to uphold our fundamental EU values and to apply the fundamental rights enshrined in the Charter, we need a prompt and comprehensive response to the rise of violent extremism as well as racism and xenophobia. No compromise is possible. This Commission decided to tackle these issues openly and on all fronts. From a legislative perspective, the terrorist content online regulation will oblige internet service providers to remove all forms of terrorist content within 1 hour from having received a removal order by an EU member state, while making sure fundamental rights are respected. At the same time, under the EU Internet Forum, guidance to internet platforms on proscribed violent right-wing extremist groups, symbols and manifestos is under preparation to support them in their content moderation efforts. The Commission is also working with Member States to agree on a common, non-legally binding working definition of violent right-wing extremism to facilitate the identification and information sharing about the phenomenon. In September 2020, we adopted an EU anti-racism action plan establishing the main policy actions for the next 5 years. Racism needs to be addressed at all levels of governance and through different measures. This is why the EU Anti-Racism Action Plan includes not only legislative measures, but also measures addressing social attitudes, stereotypes and economic concerns. The Action Plan also refers to ongoing Commission initiatives to address extremist propaganda and to support the safety and security of public spaces, like places of worship or other establishments that could be targeted by extremists. The Commission appointed a new coordinator on anti-racism because we would like to have a more direct dialogue with communities and civil society. In addition, 2 weeks ago, the Commission adopted the first ever EU strategy on combating anti-Semitism and fostering Jewish life. Anti-Semitism is incompatible with EU values. Yet, 9 out of 10 Jews in Europe consider that anti-Semitism has increased in their country. With this strategy, the Commission is determined to significantly step up the fight against anti-Semitism. It is Europe's long-term commitment to a safe, inclusive future for our Jewish communities and Jewish life in all its diversity in the EU. At the same time, we see increasing evidence of anti-Muslim hatred throughout the EU. Attacks such as the one in Hanau were also fueled by anti-migrant and anti-Muslim sentiments. The European Commission will continue to work with the European Muslim community in a long-term commitment to a safe, inclusive future for our Muslim communities and Muslim life in all its diversity in the EU. Furthermore, we often observe a continuum between the spread of hate speech or hateful conspiracies circulating online and episodes of violence or hate crime inspired by right-wing extremist ideologies. Racist and xenophobic hate speech is illegal according to EU law. The Commission is seeing to the proper transposition and implementation of this legislation through dialogue with Member States and, where needed, starting infringement procedures. In the last 12 months, the Commission launched 10 infringement proceedings against Member States. With a view to enhance the criminal law response to hate crime and hate speech, the Commission is working on an initiative which aims to extend the current list of EU crimes in the treaties to include hate speech and hate crime. To respond to the online dimension of illegal hate speech, the Commission has also developed a voluntary code of conduct with major social media platforms. The code has achieved fast progress on removing online hate speech. We have seen removal rates go up from 28% in our first monitoring in 2016 to a removal rate of up to 71% in 2020. The most recent evaluation, published on the 7th of October, shows a slight decrease in the average removal rate, while a large majority of the notices were reviewed within the 24-hour prescribed by the Code. The proposal for a Digital Services Act tackles all forms of illegal content online across member states. All these initiatives have contributed to progress. We constantly speak to member states' authorities, civil society organizations, as well as IT companies to address right-wing violent extremism and its manifestation of intolerance and racism. There is no single solution or a single actor that can win in isolation. We have to work together and join forces to protect our democracies and protect our common values. I thank you.
Grazie ħafna lill-Kummissarju Dalli. We now move to the representatives of the political groups, starting with the EPP group, Javier Zarzalejos.
Gracias, Presidenta. Permítame unirme a las palabras de la Presidencia en el anuncio del Premio Sájarov y en el reconocimiento debido por este Parlamento a las mujeres afganas. Lo primero en mi intervención es expresar la condena más absoluta, más radical por los actos de violencia que nos traen a este debate. Tenemos plena confianza en la actuación de las autoridades italianas, que sabemos que están afrontando esta amenaza con toda determinación y con todos los instrumentos legales y constitucionales a su alcance, para impedir que nadie que utilice, que justifique o que exalte la violencia pueda tener cabida en un sistema democrático. A nosotros nos toca ahora apoyar a la sociedad italiana y a sus autoridades, y así lo quiero hacer aquí. A la violencia se le combate con las armas del Estado de Derecho. No se le ofrece acomodo, ni en las calles ni en las instituciones. Es una amenaza para la democracia lo que nos trae aquí a debatir. Y es una amenaza para la seguridad de los europeos y sus libertades. En el mundo real y ahora, de manera muy preocupante, también en el mundo digital. Y efectivamente, tenemos motivos para preocuparnos, porque ese radicalismo, ese fascismo en Europa asoma con diversas caras. La cara del fascismo antisemita que amenaza y profana y quiere perpetuar la violencia de persecución contra los judíos, el fascismo xenófobo que quiere sustituir la ley por el odio, ese fascismo nacionalista como el que agrede y amenaza a jóvenes militantes de mi partido en el País Vasco y silencia por la fuerza a organizaciones cívicas defensoras de la Constitución en Cataluña, como ha ocurrido con la Asociación Universitaria Sacabat recientemente en Barcelona, y ese populismo fascista que habla del pueblo pero lo divide y lo enfrenta. Los sistemas democráticos en Europa se enfrentan a la presión polarizadora de los extremos, que constituyen la peor herencia de los totalitarismos que hemos sufrido. Por eso, ninguna tolerancia, ningún compromiso con los que utilizan la violencia, ni cuando dicen que utilizan la violencia para defender a la nación, ni cuando dicen que agreden a policías para hacer la revolución social. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zarzalejos. And now for the S&D Group, Brando Benifei. Onorevole, prego.
Grazie Presidente. Il Parlamento Europeo esorta gli Stati membri a vietare i gruppi neofascisti e neonazisti e qualsiasi altra fondazione o associazione che esalta e glorifica il nazismo e il fascismo. Questo dice la risoluzione intitolata Aumento della violenza neofascista in Europa, approvata il 25 ottobre 2018. Sono passati 3 anni ma le cose non sono migliorate. A Roma formazioni di ispirazione neofascista hanno infiltrato movimenti di protesta assaltando e devastando la sede nazionale CGIL. 100 anni dopo simili attacchi dai fascisti di Mussolini. Parliamo del più grande sindacato italiano a cui voglio portare anche da qui la solidarietà del nostro gruppo parlamentare, come già fatto scendendo in piazza questo weekend, al segretario Maurizio Landini, agli altri sindacati e leader sindacali italiani. La destra ultranazionalista di questo Parlamento ha fallito cercando di impedire questo dibattito, oggi necessario, ma come ho detto all'inizio il Parlamento europeo ha già una posizione chiara, in linea linea con quanto chiede anche il Partito Democratico in Italia. Le formazioni neofasciste e neonaziste come Forza Nuova e non solo vanno sciolte. Serve una reazione dura. Grazie alle inchieste della Stampa Libera, a Fanpage, a Piazza Pulita in Italia abbiamo scoperto che questa galassia nera cerca di infiltrare anche i partiti con finanziamenti e scegliendo persone di riferimento. Alla destra europea ed italiana chiedo meno reticenza, meno balbettii quando bisogna difendere insieme la nostra democrazia dall'eversione. Mi rivolgo a Giorgia Meloni e a Matteo Salvini. Abbiamo visto da parte vostra troppa timidezza nel riconoscere la matrice politica evidente di questi attacchi. Vergognatevi almeno un po' e provate per una volta a essere all'altezza della storia dell'Europa uscita dal nazifascismo e della Costituzione italiana nata dal sacrificio di sangue della Resistenza. Grazie.
Grazie onorevole Benifei. Onorevole Danti per il gruppo Renew.
Presidente, signora Commissario, cari colleghi, era dal 1922, cioè da pochi mesi prima dell'avvento del regime fascista, che in Italia una sede sindacale non era attaccata da gruppi estremisti. Questo evento, con il carico simbolico e la rilevanza mediatica che porta, segna un cambio di passo nella strategia politica dei gruppi di estrema destra. La propria azione da piccoli eventi politici ad una dimensione di evidenza nazionale. Davanti a questa recrudescenza abbiamo bisogno di dare un segnale forte di intransigenza verso la violenza e la violazione delle regole del vivere civile, segnale che dovrebbe accomunare tutte le forze politiche democratiche di destra e di sinistra, senza se e senza ma, unità che però non abbiamo riscontrato a causa delle parole troppo indulgenti dei partiti della destra italiani. Anni di propaganda populista e nazionalista hanno contribuito a creare una base culturale su cui oggi attecchiscono con facilità forze che si richiamano agli anni bui dell'Europa. Questi movimenti neofascisti hanno dimostrato di avere una forte capacità di penetrare negli spazi di emarginazione, sfruttando e alimentando, soprattutto attraverso la rete, le paure delle persone, costruendo nemici, siano essi rappresentati dagli immigrati o, come in questo caso, dai vaccini e dal Green Pass. Ma l'intransigenza non basta. Serve togliere al motore la benzina al motore di questa destra estremista, affrontare i problemi alla radice, fare una profonda operazione culturale di memoria, soprattutto per i più giovani. Presidente, vorrei concludere ricordando che uno dei responsabili di questo attacco alla sede della CGIL è stato deputato di questo Parlamento e che in passato finanziamenti destinati a partiti politici europei sono stati erogati anche a forze estremiste. Mi auguro che in questo Parlamento i suoi organi facciano i necessari approfondimenti per evitare che tutto ciò accada di nuovo.
Grazie onorevole Danti. Adesso Ignazio Corrao per il gruppo dei Verdi.
Grazie Presidente, cari colleghi. È vero, in Italia il virus del fascismo esiste ancora, ma per fortuna a dimensioni marginali il Paese, che ne ha vissuto la catastrofe e lo ha sconfitto sul campo, ha sviluppato anticorpi efficaci. L'attacco al sindacato a Roma, che ricorda la pagina più buia della nostra storia, è un atto osceno che dovrebbe essere condannato da tutti, senza alcuna eccezione. Purtroppo invece vari partiti istituzionali in Europa strizzano l'occhio a fascisti e violenti. È il caso in Italia di Fratelli d'Italia e della Lega, che usano un linguaggio ambiguo e non riescono a rinnegare fascismo e fascisti. Ci sono però delle cose da spiegare su questi fatti. In primo luogo, questi gruppetti, composti soprattutto da ultras e fanatici, sono numericamente molto limitati e i suoi componenti sono ben conosciuti alle forze dell'ordine italiane. Dovremmo chiederci perché, durante manifestazioni pacifiche, questi siano stati lasciati liberi di generare caos, con le forze dell'ordine infiltrate tra i violenti o impegnate a reprimere il lato pacifico della manifestazione. È successo a Roma, è successo in passato tante volte e sta continuando a succedere. Le manifestazioni in Italia contro l'uso del Green Pass per poter lavorare non sono manifestazioni fasciste, sono partecipate da persone che soffrono un forte disagio sociale e che hanno diritto a manifestarlo, visto che nessun paese nell'Unione Europea applica sul lavoro le imposizioni previste in Italia al governo Draghi. violenti e neofascisti fanno in realtà il gioco di chi vuole reprimere il dissenso e in Italia questa cosa purtroppo non è una novità.
Grazie onorevole Corrao. Adesso Paolo Borchia per il gruppo ID.